Hey folks, it's Lindsay, host of SPS, back in the building over at the Mix for the live taping of the SPS Edge show. Hey, it's been a great time, a great basketball season, but man, the basketball being played throughout the state of Michigan wouldn't be right without this man sitting to my right, Mr. Denarryl D. Rice. What's going on, brother? Represent D. Rice Elite, my guy. You're supposed to be here. We got to have the right people in the building, man. You have done an excellent job. You're probably one of the most hardest working, not necessarily known guys out there. The right people know who you are, but just define and tell us who D. Rice is and talk a little bit about D. Rice Elite, and we're going to get into that.
Man, D. Rice Elite is a program, youth program that's going into our 8th year. I try to make it a one-stop shop.
8 years?
8 years. This will be our 8th season.
Wow.
So never thought I would get to this point, but we've been bigger and better each year. Started locally just in the YMCA, JCC. A few parents asked me to kind of start a travel team. And then
I've been able to experience a travel team. We was down on the Adidas Gauntlet down in Indiana.
Yes, that was my 2025 team. And for the last 4 or 5 years, I had each team been ranked in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
You say that real low key, like that was done, huh?
I mean, what we do in the gym, we keep in between the gym.
You did say making your program a one-stop shop. What all does that include when you say that?
So it's just not a travel team, right? It's a skill development, player development. We also have tutoring for the kids. Shout out to Miss Terry for the tutoring.
Terry Marquez?
Yes, Terry Marquez. She's awesome. The mentorship. Just trying to teach the kids and show the kids the right way, and also it's life after basketball as well.
It is, and I know about your background, and what probably will surprise people is because when they see trainers, they think that there's just this one-dimensional thing, but your background, you're an educator.
Absolutely.
So you're not just teaching them on the court, but you teach them in life. So talk about why it's so important that not only do you promote high player development skills, but also the educational skills. Talk about that part, why you bring that component in.
Well, I'm in education as well. I've been a teacher for the last 5 years. A lot of people don't know that.
I know they look at you crazy. You teach?
Yeah. All across the board from K through 12, from high school to middle school. I'm actually even worked for Nika last year.
Oh yeah?
She was my boss.
What kind of boss was she?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You only saying that because she got something in her hands. She can throw something at you. She got good aim too.
She got the right spectrum. I don't want to mess with her.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So back to.
We just talking about just that incorporating the educational part into what you do and why that's such an important thing.
Yeah. Well, I try to make sure that it's important that the kids books and basketball.
Yeah.
And make books first.
Books and basketball, I like that.
I challenge all my kids to make sure their grades are up to par, have a great relationship with the parents. We all work together, and it's a huge family atmosphere.
Yeah, I like that. Let's get back into you only training killers. Let's talk about, the approach you take with your training and, just what is it like going through a D. Rice Elite session?
I'm going to test your mental. I'm going to test your mental. You may not like me at first, but at the end of the day, I think, you're going to make out to be a good person, good player, and then you'll benefit from it in the long run.
All right, I'm going to put my sports psychology hat on now. When you say test your mental, what does that involve?
I'm going to push you in ways that you don't think you can be pushed, right? I'm a former pro, a little under 10 years, so I pretty much know what it takes to get to that next level.
And I know you're a very humble guy, and you just kind of low-key said, but you play professional basketball all throughout the world, so you do understand what it takes. I just repeated what you said, but I wanted to amplify it because of your humility. You don't put it out there like that. So coming to you, you're going to really give them what it needs to go forward. Have you seen a difference in the approach of the young people or how the young people respond to you in the last few years, pre-COVID versus post-COVID, or just in the recent time?
Not much of a difference. I try to still being able to play a little bit. I try to let the kids know, like, I'm not just teaching you, I can show you as well. So that makes a big difference.
Sure, I know it does too. You are part of the North Farmington family. Shout out to the North Farmington Raiders. You guys had a real good push this year. Talk about what it's like being part of an elite program along with the separate work that you do too.
Man, I didn't think that I would learn as much as I've learned this year. Coach Ty, Coach Noah, go to go.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot up under them. They've been tremendous in just far as my maturation process as a coach. No-go probably has over 30 plus years or more. You know, me and Tiny have a great relationship, and it's just been an awesome experience over there. It's a good family atmosphere. We had a great season, came up short, lost to Orchard Lake St. Mary's, district champions, league champions, 22, overall 22-2. So
you guys were like samurai warriors, slicing through everybody, man, on the run you was on. Shout out to Ryan Hurst getting the Mr. Basketball nomination as well. I mean, talk about dealing with a high-profile program. Let's just call it what it is. What is it like having that element too?
It's the closest thing I told the kids in our last speech in the locker room. This program is the closest thing that you'll get to college.
Wow. Say that again, just so they know.
I believe no Farmington program is the closest thing you'll get to college.
Why so? What makes it like that?
Just the whole atmosphere as far as you have a full staff of about 5 coaches. We're always hands-on. You have access to everything that you need. You get the skill development, you get the training, you get the teaching. We all care, and we all hold each other accountable. You don't make no excuses, and we just believe in do your job.
I have to double down on that as well, because in my experience, in my role and some of the work I've done, I've said the same thing to the kids, just as far as how things are scheduled, organized, the resources. I mean, I think people can take that for granted, but I remember saying, look, dude, this is like a collegiate program straight up. And I think people miss that a lot too. What does it benefit? Some may think obvious, but what's one of the benefits of being a part of a program like that?
Just that unity, and it helps the performance on the court. You know, 1 through 15, everybody's pulling for each other, and when you go on a battle, it's good to have your brother next to you.
Yeah.
So it's very close, in family type atmosphere.
Yeah. Let's talk about when expectations aren't met. I mean, I know everyone was kind of eyeing North Farmington to make that run. You know, I was just at the Breslin Center yesterday, and on Friday seeing the state championship games. We saw Cass Tech win, we saw Ferndale win, we saw Beecher win, we saw Munising win as well. Just talk about, what do you say to the guys that are coming back, the Thomas Pratts of the world and others who come back to those same high expectations? What do you say to them?
Remember the feeling that you had after your last loss, right? Take that with you into the summer, put in work, stay focused, and do whatever you felt you need to do differently. Make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. You know, we talked a little bit earlier, you talked about all the great things that you're providing. You're being a one-stop shop, but there are a lot of trainers out there. There's no knock on anybody and what they're doing. But what makes the D. Rice Elite experience so special?
Probably results. Like you said, I'm not one that'll talk or boast or brag as far as our program or what I do. I do have kids that's showing results. Like going into last year, my 2025 team, every kid won varsity.
Wow.
Six out of the 10 started on varsity.
Wow.
And in that class, out of the 10, I believe 10 out of the 25 are top players in the state.
Wow.
On each team.
Wow.
And then, as well as I have a good relationship with high school coaches. And that's one thing that I want to kind of bridge the gap between AAU and high school coaches. It doesn't have to be, they're going left and we're going right. Great relationship with the PSL coaches, OAA coaches, so on and so forth. So I think it's important for my job to be able to get these guys prepared and ready to what they're going to see in high school. Not do nothing different. So I talk to a lot of the coaches, for actually all my coaches, for each player that I get that comes to the team, and we try to get on the schedule as far as what this kid needs and the balance between what I see and what they want. And I think that goes a long way. And I make sure that this season I didn't get a chance to go as many games with my kids' games because I was on the bench. But I pretty much go North Bench with no farm. So I try to check out all my kids. I got two at DeLaSalle, Phoenix Gosser, Monty Portis, two at Oak Park. Shout out Jason Smith and Rob, Jason Harris and Robert Smith. I train Trey McKinney. People, not so many people know that. We've been in the gym several times this season, right before a game, night before.
So let's stop with that for a second. I remember at a game over at the Chris Webber Extravaganza hosted by North Farmington. Trey did a move, had the whole crowd going, ooh. And then later he was like, yeah, D. Rice helped me with that. We was in the gym with that. So Talk about what it's like having probably one of the most high-profile student athletes in the state that's getting national recognition, being up under your wing right now.
Man, with Trey, I'm not surprised. He's one of the hardest workers. So I haven't seen a kid that's so focused to be the best. And I was really happy and proud for him, all the success that he had this season. Came up short, but he has a bright future. And he has a hunger about him, an old school hunger, type of grit and grind that not too many kids have nowadays. And I think that's the separation between him and the players playing right now. It's more so mental.
Yeah, I love that. And if we can look at Trey McKinney as a great youth role model, whenever I sit down and talk to him, I always go the extra mile to pick his brain and put things out there. But what else is it about the Trey McKinney story that is worth other athletes modeling, other families modeling? What is it about him that people should kind of say, look, you may not have the athletic ability or the actual gifts he has, but here are some things that Trey McKinney does or is happening in his world that can be beneficial to you?
He has the want to and the will to be the best. And I think he lets his performance do the talking. Like I said, I haven't seen the kid put in as much work. He has like a pregame routine, almost like an NBA workout, even before his game. Not too many kids have that. Usually kids like, oh, I'm gonna get tired. No, Trey's a relentless worker, and I think that's, you'll see it pay down the line.
He's a relentless worker. He don't gotta push him, so he really wants. But it looks so easy to him when he's out there, though.
Yeah, when you put in that work, things slow up.
Yeah,
right.
And I do agree. He's slowing up the game with that. Before we let you get out of here, we're going to definitely talk about your availability if people want to be able to take advantage of your services. But lastly, and I know you're not a big social media guy. You have a great social media presence. I always see that. Talk about the role social media is playing in athletes' future right now.
Social media is huge, man, because now it really doesn't matter what school you go to as far as a collegiate level. Scouts, coaches have access to you. Even within high school basketball, I got a lot of coaches reaching out and watching the games on Huddle. So the platform for social media for you to get recognition is huge right now. And that's why I tell kids, you never know who's watching. Always play hard. They always looking at things like, who's watching me, who's watching me. Don't worry about it. Somebody can see you. It's an opportunity for them to see you.
You run in circles with college coaches, with pros all the time. What do you think they're looking for as it relates to social media and what's going around, whether it's the do's and don'ts? But what do you think the people who make the decision to bring you to their university or their college, what stands out to them?
In my personal opinion, and I get a chance to talk to kids about their social media page, and I think, like I always say, it's kids that like basketball and kids that love basketball. So if I'm recruiting a kid and I go to a social media page, I want to see the difference between why am I recruiting this kid? Is this kid really passionate about the game? Or does he have other things on his mind that have distractions that pull him away from me giving him this $100,000 scholarship? And that's most important. And I go through kids' page and I'm telling them, you don't even look like a basketball player. A kid wouldn't even know, a coach wouldn't even know who you are based off your page. I just had trials recently and I went to go actually look at the kids' pages, and you'd be surprised at what you see, and to be a basketball player.
D. Rice said, some of y'all don't even look like ball players on your social media. And he don't have no dog in his fight. I think that is some excellent advice. So they need to go scrub, and I think they just walk this line between being an athlete and being cool, but it's not looking like you worth this investment.
Absolutely not.
We're very fortunate to have you. I'm very fortunate to have the friendship. I can hit your line, you can hit mine. I'm fortunate for your food recommendations, and I'm trying to hit a nice spot. Shout out to Lil Man.
Hey, that's right.
Hey, the line was bumping. I couldn't stay in line. I had to get down here to the podcast, but no, shout out to the brothers who are doing their thing. Are you available for people to come be a part of the D. Rice family, whether it's your teams, your training, and what's that like to be able to come on board?
If you're trying to get better, I'm available. I try to have all access to my parents. They can reach me at any time. You can reach me at D. Rice League Basketball. You can reach me at Illmental1 on Instagram. Denarryl Rice on Facebook. My email is drice21241@gmail. This March Madness right now.
So back up and give me a minute. Give me a couple weekends.
So it's a lot of basketball being played. It's a lot of basketball as far as kids putting in work in the springtime, the spring break. I'll be in the gym pretty much 24/7. So I try to, resemble my program after who I was as a player. When I was an underdog. So me being in the gym, putting in tireless work to teach them is nothing to me.
Yeah, well look, I think they're very fortunate to have access to you. And the last thing I'll say is, you know, everybody may want to come get on board, but what are the expectations when they come to get on board? They can't just come and say, I'm going to do whatever I want to do and take care of me.
Absolutely. Well, we're an independent program, so we don't have any type of huge sponsorship for as far as like Nike, Adidas, you know, but the expectations are just as high. Like I spot through that bit in there that we've been one of the premier programs in the country, and I had a team ranked for the last 4 years in the country. So it's not a second fiddle program, and the expectations are high, and we're going to work hard.
Well, I'll tell you this, you showed me love on the circuit when SPS came down to Indiana with you guys, and I'm telling you this, I'm going to show that love back. I'm going to come down to check you out again. It's going to be on my dime. Keep supporting you, because I appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Moneyball representing.
Moneyball representing. Shout out to our guy, Desmond Ferguson, and all the great things. You know, you're getting ready to open the new headquarters.
Absolutely.
And you know, you're going to have the court outside. You're talking about shooting. I blew my ACL. I can't play no D, but I'll shoot with him, though. I'm so happy for you. You know, you'll get up there and put a move on him.
I'm going to get in a Moneyball program this summer.
You put in a program this summer?
Man.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
I talked to him. I was up there yesterday or Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, up in Lansing, and it's funny because you know, time flies by so fast. I remember when you was just getting started up there and holding down. Now you doing bigger and better things.
Hey, we having my boss with me. My daughter come with me on Tuesday nights.
Man, big time. And you know, I was still pretty much getting after it out there. And haven't played there probably about 3 years. I had surgery and the whole nine. But long story short, my kids don't think I can play.
They don't know. They don't know. They can't check the YouTube. They can't check it out.
No, so I'm gonna give it one game probably, maybe two, for them to bring the whole program out. All the kids just come out there and say,
I love it. I'm gonna be standing right next to him, smack him in the back of the head like you should just take his word for everybody come bow down to you.
I ain't say how I was gonna play, but I'm gonna get
No, how about this? If you get the opportunity to play, that validates you right there, because Dad don't just let anybody come play.
That's a fact.
What's Dad say? Dad said, this ain't no church league.
If I come, I gotta come correct.
Hey, you always gonna come correct. My man, E. Rice, man, y'all don't know. Y'all got blessed with some great jewels, and y'all get blessed with some more in a moment. With that being said, Lindsey Hudson with SPS, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.